as we're going through here. And we read the Avengers Operation Galactic Storm this week. This is a crossover, and I've read a lot of the crossovers on the channel from the 90s so far that have been released. We did Maximum Carnage.
No, just in general. Hang on, I'm going back to the Avengers now. I'm gonna see.
Sure.
Like, was there creative panel work?
No.
Okay, sorry. Let's cook. I'm ready. I looked it over. Okay, close enough.
Good enough. Whatever. I've got my Cynthia's dad always like good enough for Sudbury. That's a thing.
Fucking right it is. Yeah. What a beauty.
Yeah. Avengers Volume 1, issue 345 from March 1992. This is part 5 of Operation Galactic Storm. We got a writer, Mr. Bob Harras, who is later on he's going to be editor-in-chief at Marvel after Tom DeFalco, I think. At this time, he's just the lead editor on the X-Men books, but he's also writing the Avengers. And then we got Steve Epting, and this is it's not his first pro work, but you'll know Steve Epting from the Brubaker Captain America run. That's all Steve Epting stuff. This is very early in Epting's career, and I gotta say, like he arrives pretty much fully fucking formed.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. This is strong. I thought this was fucking Perez.
Well, there we go. Nope, not at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, immediately I went to check the name of the artist and then thought, okay, yeah, that's Epting, but that's fine. But I just mean, like, just for as a nod to like how capable this was fucking great.
Yeah. And I never appreciated Epting when this came out. There was a lot of X-Men Avengers crossovers, and I ended up reading a lot of the X-Men books, both I think after Operation Galactic Storm, and I don't know, I always found it kind of lacking in comparison to like your Adam Kubert and your Andy Kubert. But as an adult, like I wouldn't give up Andy Kubert for all the gold in Fort Knox, but I think I'd give up the other Kubert for Steve Epting.
Nice. Well, I like that.
Yeah. And then okay. So this follows up after the Quasar story, essentially, where that space station's like, we're gonna blow, and so we got Thor, we got Quasar, we got Vision, we got Circe, and they're out in the space all of a sudden, and they're gonna save the space station for no good reason. The same fucking idiots that were like, we're not leaving.
So they get out there, and now I see what you meant too, because we were talking about Thunderstrike, off air. So
yeah.
This is clearly not Thor.
Right.
This is a young Turk.
Yeah, it's like Eric Masterson is inside the body of Thor, and that's the thing. This character is weird because he's not like a young Turk. He's just when he's in Thor's body, he's just like this bumbling idiot who what do you say, Quasar? Oh
yeah, he made a great comment actually when they got fucking attacked. Didn't he say something stupid? Hey, they're firing at us. No, at one point he goes, "Oi," or some shit.
Yeah. So it's not a compelling version of Thor. Not my favorite version at all. But
I like the idea of it. Like I like the idea of it. I think it's just not really realized, because when you're using Thor's same body, it's just confusing and fucked up unless you're absolutely balls deep in the continuity, which most people probably are not. Hopefully. And the yeah, but I don't know. There was some really I don't know. I like the idea of it. Like I like the body snatcher sort of thing, and then I like the idea that Thor's just like a guy from Sudbury.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right though. Like I think that's why later on Thunderstrike is going to be like the new persona that he takes on, and it becomes a little more actually palatable.
Because you need a costume. You need like it's because it's a unique idea and unique character. Why would you recycle a body? like an aesthetic. It's just confusing.
Yeah.
It's like just sort of takes you out of it. Takes the vinegar out of it.
Yeah. Delicious vinegar.
They do a nice job too when they get back to the station with Cap. Cap is like a mega strategist in this. Like they can't even function without him, and he's just a standard human military mind. But it's pretty cool to see him like activated at this level.
Yeah, it's very appropriate for him because like what are they the Kurt Busiek called him like the god of winning, and this is your Captain America who's on point and ready to lead like an actual war campaign. And yeah, you don't always get to see that. Usually like he's charging forward or whatever, and he's the guy who's going to save the day, but you don't. And he'll maybe come up with a clever plan to deal with Ultron or whatever. But it's nice to see him thinking on this much larger scale, like he could storm Normandy.
Well, yeah, and if you think about it, really, like, okay, I shouldn't. That's a bad example, but I was going to say who on the team has seen a war, but then I'm like, oh, wait a sec, there's actual like legitimate gods on the team who've seen war for thousands and thousands of years, and
yeah.
Well, that just makes Cap even cooler to be able to hang with them, in that sense.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's not like he is. Obviously, he's got superpowers too, but yeah, his primary gift is the gift of leadership, and just to be the fucking American spirit, just that living embodiment of America.
Yeah. Thor. I really like that Hawkeye got cut from the team.
Oh, and then got all pissed off. I was just going to comment on that.
and then Pym gave him a vial of perv juice, and he turned himself into a giant bondage dude. That I didn't even really know that was him. What did he call himself again?
Well, it's Goliath, I think.
Goliath, yeah, correct. Yeah, sorry.
So anyway. Nice callback to the that's a Neil Adam designed costume, I think, too.
It looks great.
Yeah.
And then he cuts U.S. Agent from the team instead. But all of that sort of sets up a couple of things for the fight in the next issue, and that's that like there's some fucking holes on this team,
Yeah.
So I feel like in the Iron Man issue that follows this, we'll talk about in a second, I feel like it adds tension that Iron Man's off the table hacking computers for the majority of the issue. So one of your big heavy power hitters is pulled right off the table, doing mental work, like old school like shop work basically, while the rest of the team has to fight, and they're partially diminished because you saw that fucking Hawkeye barely made the cut, and it's just like it just makes you tense, It's a good tool.
Yeah, what the problem was is he brought Black Knight, and he considered bringing U.S. Agent at all. Like that the teams that go off into space should unilaterally or uniformly just be like the most powerful people on the team. So what we're talking about is Captain America breaks everyone up into 3 different teams. One of the people are going to go to the Kree, one of them are going to go to the Shi'ar, and then another group's going to stay on Earth to hold the fort. And admittedly, for the most part, they are a bunch of fucking losers. She-Hulk should have went into space, though, for sure.
Yeah, Team A was a bit lacking outside of Hercules. No, Cersei is a fucking unit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Crystal has like full-on elemental powers. That's not bad, but maybe not great in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, what does the Black Knight do? Does he have a perv sword?
Yeah, he like in this, he has like an electronic sword. He's supposed to have like the ebony blade that like sucks souls or some shit.
Jesus. Well, that'd be better.
Yeah, it would. But again, you leave that dude on Earth. Like, what does he bring to the table exactly?
And he doesn't even have the ebony sword. He's got like what, electro blade?
Yeah.
That's fucking lame. Who made that for him? Iron Man? That's useless.
Yeah, because Iron Man can do that for anyone, right? Like he's
to me that would make U.S. Agent a better choice.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that was but I mean, it's notable that even though the Black Knight is like a major character in the Avengers at this time, he doesn't get any screen time.
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, with Cersei there, he probably thinks, who gives a shit who I bring on the team? She literally just she took on a full armada and threatened to destroy their lead ship and kill everyone on it already, and then captured half the goddamn, like, they literally brought a strike force of ships, and she single-handedly, she used Thunderstrike's derpiness to help her plow through the side of the fucking ship and then just threaten to kill everybody just like an absolute beast. It was awesome. I was like, oh my God, this is horrifying. Like, what are you going to do? You surrender.
Yeah, she doesn't get enough credit as a real powerhouse. And
well, I don't know. That really set the tone for me. I was like,
yeah, well, I just mean in general, like it's not something that you often think of unless you've been reading the comics at this time. And she's an Eternal, I think it's said in there, so she's like up there with Thanos and Star Fox.
Yeah, so he's got Hercules and her and Iron Man. I mean, like, really, everybody else doesn't really matter. The Team B, I feel, is most impressive though.
Well, the way they got Thor, they got Wonder Man, they got Vision, they got Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, like she's going to be Photon Lady, Star Fox, and the Living Lightning. I was like, who is that guy?
The Living Lightning. Okay. I mean, every team's got to have a bit of a drag down.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be written by Dan Thomas. Dan Thomas? Roy Thomas. And
Thor, me?
Yeah.
That's a good team, though. I mean, except they have some, like, relationship problems that Wanda thinks about.
Like, immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, control yourself, Wanda. Okay, everyone else is being professional.
Yeah. Like, well, Vision has no choice but to be professional. Like, he's a robot. And Wonder Man's, like, we've seen he's also having these like randy thoughts and getting really like offensive.
What's her name again? Cersei has some randy thoughts about what's his name too? Thunderstrike.
Oh, does she? I don't really like thinking like, oh.
She's like, you're raw, headstrong, but I think you have possibilities. Whoa, easy.
That's funny. I didn't read it that way, but that's totally that works. I love that on that same page when Thor throws that hammer and it hits that spaceship, like it's shields.
Well, I like how he throws it. It hits the spaceship. It's like unimpressive, but then on the next panel, everybody gets fucking rocked, and they're like, "Bro, the shields are down to no %. This isn't great."
Yeah. And actually, and flipping back a little further, like when those spaceships come out of the warp drive, not the warp, out of the wormhole, that looks great. Like, I think that's where I was like, oh my, actually, that's where I realized I was sleeping on Epting.
Yeah, that looks unreal. That's a problem. That's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
Wormholes open and armadas come through. Only like really sort of diminishes the Shi'ar armada when Thunderstrike busts through the hull of your flagship and Cersei tells you that she's going to kill you all and you surrender the whole armada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, they didn't surrender. So what's the rest of the armada doing? Did the captain tell them we're surrendering and just stay here and float in space awkwardly?
That's possible.
We're gonna get shrunk down into a fucking ant farm in a perverse way, which is actually like got to be some kind of war crime.
Well, I want to talk about Hank Pym, and like he's like, I have a theory that he might actually be like, well, he is a supervillain. I mean, he turns in every once in a while he becomes Yellow Jacket and beats his wife, or makes Ultron or something like that. He's a real liability.
He's fucked up. Yeah, you can't are you kidding me? Like, are you letting this guy lurk around in your like unlimited funded laboratories? This guy's a fucking menace.
Yeah, it's just walking around. You don't deserve that, Clint. And it's like it's almost a Faustian pact that he enters into with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like,
And then he's got the fucking Shi'ar like commander of their goddamn Armada force like shrunk down in a goddamn shoebox, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's problematic. Like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, I don't have a good feeling about this either, Cap. Fuck off, you don't, you creep.
And it's funny,
fucking probably reaches in the box and like pinches them too every once in a while. Sick fuck.
Squeezes them like a kitten, just like a little child.
Yeah.
Having shrinking powers is not nothing.
No.
Like
shrinking
if you can if you can turn someone small, like, man, that gives you a lot of power. If you can ensure that you are the giant, that's a pretty big deal. No pun intended. Black Widow is really downplayed in this. Like she kind of doesn't exist other than like Captain America's secretary, or kind of like the person that stands behind him.
Yeah, she's like got like a Lady J sort of thing going on here.
Yeah.
Only like it's like, yeah, like, I'm having a Duke Lady J vibe from the whole Captain America and her. Like,
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
He's like, Black Widow, fetch Cap a coffee. He's working. Yeah. She's got her headset on from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
She looks like a fucking receptionist, like you said.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Just carrying around Cap's papers. Doesn't say a word. Actually, no. I guess she says a couple things. Ultimately, though, it's just like, listen to Cap.
So listen to Cap. Where's Cap's paper?
Yeah.
He had it here a minute ago. And the Earth team, that's rough. Like,
oh yeah,
hopefully no one fucking attacks.
Well, fortunately, there's also other heroes on Earth, like Spider-Man's around.
You think that's what Cap's
Four.
banking on? Or he's banking on that pervert Hank Pym will kill anybody that comes down to Earth anyway.
That's probably what he thinks about all the time. He's just like, yeah, because like Hank's a sadistic fuck too. Like he's got real mental health issues.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to see him properly unleashed as a villain. Like I know it gets tried from time to time, but I honestly don't think anybody like does it well.
No. Like I'd like to see him kill somebody.
Yeah. He shouldn't have made me feel small.
No. No. Again. Yeah. What a fucking scene. What a scene.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever talked about that, but whatever. You know what? Yeah. Kudos to anyone listening to this that knows.
What we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. If you've seen it, you'll know. So yeah. Then okay. So Goliath does the thing. They leave Quasar behind.
Quasar gets like taken out of the equation all of a sudden.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's like, is that like Adam Warlock strippers? Like, I'm here to comfort you. Whoa, hey.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Quasar's down.
Yeah.
That's it. He literally says, "Oh boy."
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's just
Quasar out. Yeah, we've lost communication with Quasar. Not sure something's wrong here.
So yeah, he gets pulled out for no reason, and then we cut to Princess Lilandra.
Oh man, she's a menace too.
One thing I like about this series is that the Shi'ar are, because in the X-Men book, the Shi'ar can't really be depicted as this imperialist, shitty, like a like a empire. And in this book, like they're a little more, well, actually they're not just a little more, they are free to do that. And this is kind of the ugliest version of the Shi'ar that I can think of, and it's gonna get ugly, by the time this thing's done. And I kind of like that.
Yeah, like, what's up with Deathbird?
I'm not sure what she's offering.
No, and that's not good. Like, I'll be like, yo, get out of here. How do you still live on this planet? I'm the queen. You're a huge liability.
Yeah.
And why are you wearing that? Like, everyone else has standard armor. Where'd you even get that made?
She's the Deathbird. She's it's very serious. That is pretty serious though. She's gone to
The only thing serious about her is her stupid ass costume. Other than that, I don't understand what are we talking about here? If she's a standard, she's fought people.
Well, she's fought. She's a major X-Men villain, and she's gone toe to toe against Wolverine. I don't think she's won, but she's she's up there. She's a fierce competitor.
Man, look, listen, if you can't beat the Wolverine, you're not fighting fucking Hercules.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think she has to though. She's got the Imperial Guard for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So she's offering Lilandra a warning. The deaths of billions will sear your soul like a flaming brand. Can I just actually? We haven't talked about the other. This is the most dense of the things that we've read yet.
Yeah.
It's like full of panels, full of words, and I think kind of too much. It's not.
No, this is okay for me. This reminds me of this is a pinnacle issue though. And I'm glad it's in the Avengers because this is the issue that sort of this reminds me of an Infinity Gauntlet issue that's pure plot building. This is it. This is it. Here's the whole story. We're just gonna cram it right here, quick.
Yeah.
Then we can get to some fucking action, So that's okay with me. I don't mind. I don't mind that happened.
Right. I think though we're going to see though that this density is maintained. I think Bob just likes to. It's not Claremont density because there's no captions or anything. It's still all dialogue, but it's very like there's a lot of panels per page. Well. Actually, I'm looking at it now. There isn't. It just kind of feels like it. Anyway.
There's definitely, he should have written a novelette, really, instead of a comic.
Yeah.
It's a lot
I'm surprised he has so much fucking time on his hands. He's the chief editor of an entire X-Men line, and he's still pumping out Avengers scripts once a month.
Well, and you know what, too? I mentioned this to you earlier today. This is the issue where the stakes are raised. This is now an armada just broke through into Earth space, hugely problematic. Both the Shi'ar and the Kree are using the Earth's sun or our solar system's sun as an energy source, which is causing it to become volatile. And then now we've been introduced to the idea that it could go supernova. And basically wipe out billions. Yeah. And so now it's they don't have a choice but to intervene into, and I like this doesn't come until the Iron Man issue, so I'll wait for that. But
well, let's start the Iron Man one right now then.
Yeah. Well, I like the little U.S. agent jab at the end. I like that he doesn't shave. He's just a piece of shit. He just looks like a guy that sells fucking sausages in New York.
Gets kicked off the team for Mr. Goliath. So Operation Galactic Storm Part 6, Iron Man, Volume 1, Issue 278, March 1992. And this one is written by Len Kaminski. Len Kaminski wrote Iron Man for a while. He's got a very long Iron Man run. What else did he do? He's also he invented War Machine. He didn't invent it, but he came up with the concept. And then Paul Ryan is the penciler. I don't know if he's the regular penciler at this time. I really don't think he is, but Paul Ryan works with Tom DeFalco on Fantastic Four at this time. He has an extremely long run on Fantastic Four. It sucks real bad if we ever get a chance to read
this is not great.
Yeah. It's not his faces are I'm looking at Captain America's face right now, and he's got mongoloid problems.
Yeah, his like cheeks dangling a bit.
Yeah, Circe looks like she doesn't have eyebrows. Like she's this eyebrowless, kind of slow Eastern European woman.
Yeah, and sometimes she looks like a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the issue too. What I was gonna say, where the Kree, they introduced the Kree, and the Kree look like Shi'ar people without hats on. So like, I like the idea of just like being too foolish to, you know what I mean? It's just like the old racist gag. Like, what's the point of racism if you're the exact same species but you're just different looking?
Yeah.
And then you're just fighting each other for no apparent reason. So just a little jab in there, to warring nations.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if that really factors into it. I'm much more inclined to think that just like Paul Ryan is not a really
that's just like shitty design work. Yeah, okay, all right, I'll go that either way. I guess I was giving him some props,
Yeah, you really were. Yeah, he's basically, all I'm seeing here is that he draws humans, but he makes them blue, and maybe puts like a robot thing on their eye.
Oh no, I was talking about the like, oh man.
Oh, I see.
The military guys.
Gotcha. I'm looking at them now. Okay, all right. Yeah.
The blue guys are like a Borg ripoff. You can tell this is some 90s shit right here, right? They're like, let's rip off the Borgs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that there, isn't there?
They all look straight up little Locutuses.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Intelligence is so fucking lame, dude. And he's so like overtly lame that he can only be like cheese evil. Like he can only have one dimension because it's such a fucking stupid design.
Well, yeah, and no one does him any favors. Like, I would kind of like to see a Supreme Intelligence that lives up to the name. But really, all he does is like you said, like he just rants, excellent, and his mouth is like wide open all the time, and
he's like all evil, and he just blathers, and he makes like bad decisions which are not supremely intelligent.
Yeah,
he's like, let's just shave 20 years off Shatterax's life, even though he's like basically like a living weapon. What a great plan.
I like this. Like, I'm not sure if you're looking at the page where they're like, bring Shatterax online, and it looks like the dude's having like, he's missing his arms. He's like, it looks like
he's like missing a hand, and they're giving him like electric open heart surgery while he's conscious. He's like That's fucking awful. I'm not sure what the plan is there, but Shatterax obviously, I don't know. Good opportunity to have him turn on them. Anyway,
it's a real shame that like, because that could have been like a real horror moment. Like think like the script on this is probably a lot creepier than the execution and the art, because it's not conveyed like the horror of what we're looking at. Like you said, like they're doing surgery on this guy while he's awake, and he's like and the Supreme Intelligence in the meanwhile is like, do it immediately. Like he and the dude's response is like, this unit can be brought to full capacity by 1400 hours, Supreme One. Yeah, there's just like a real technocratic, authoritarian coldness to it, which is completely lost in the art. And it's kind of a shame. I don't want to give too much credit to Len Kaminski, but I think he's a guy who had some pretty good ideas. Not a lot of pop sensibility, and often failed by his artists.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. One thing I will say about the artist is I did enjoy. I like that Iron Man used Microsoft DOS to hack the space station. I'm not sure if you caught that.
I did. It's very like, Kaminski was. I gather he struck him. He had he loved cyberpunk novels at this time. Like, he's got a real cyberpunk sensibility, and for that reason his Iron Man stories were kind of pretty good. But
yeah, it's actually pretty, like, I like what he did with the art in terms of like the Iron Man suit interface.
Yeah.
Like I like that, because you've got like action there. Cabs like disintegrate.
Yeah.
So they're like, every time they knock somebody out, they disintegrate into mush or whatever, and it's Hercules starts tossing guys. Taste the might of the Lion of Olympus.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. And
that
while all
up.
that shit's going on, the Iron Man's cooking up a storm in the computer hacking world, and it's very cool. It's like sort of the, it's like a movie. It's like a movie scene. It's just cool. It really adds to the tension, and I thought it was actually like a well done gimmick.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of the things you want to see from Tony Stark. Like this is an excellent application of his intelligence and his techno savvy or whatever. Like not his intelligence, because all of his decisions are stupid. Not all of his decisions, but this hacking thing, like, because you go into space and you want to see him interact with alien technology. You want to see Tony Stark in action, because Tony Stark's much more interesting than Iron Man is.
Oh yeah, like having bro float around in like a rocket propelled suit and beam everybody. I mean, like that's got a dimension to it, but not much of one. You seeing Tony Stark like you say, like, use his technology. It's like I don't know. It's like Bruce Wayne fabricating or being a detective. It works.
Yeah.
It's what you came for,
Yeah. And so it's nice that he can fit it in, because again, this is an issue of Iron Man in a larger crossover. And honestly, you don't notice. I think Kaminski does a much better job than Mark Grunwald in melding those two things together and turning it into an Iron Man focused issue, but also like it feels of a piece with the Avengers issue that we just read. It feels like he's working to tell the larger story, and not focus, like with Grunwald. He's always trying to get in his story beats for after the crossover, and we also saw that with Gerard Jones. But Kaminski's being very cooperative and a real workhorse here. Like, you wouldn't get the sense that there was any other larger narrative, and maybe that's actually bad for an ongoing book, but it's welcome here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. It's like you kind of get to have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you were just a pure Iron Man fan, you'd still get a pretty cool Iron Man story out of this.
Yeah. So I'm curious if we're going to continue to get that. It's neat to see how everybody approaches a crossover.
It's not easy to do what he did here, like, story wise.
Yeah.
Like to have that, like, anyway, it's just it's hard to explain. No, it's not hard to explain, but it's hard to do this. It's because you get a pure Iron Man story. You get sort of like unwavering focus on your character, but then you're like carrying the full weight of like a massive crossover. In a good way too, that moves the story along.
Yeah, because that's exactly it. Like, by the end of this issue, we've moved somewhere further into, like nothing stays there's no stasis. And at the end, everybody gets captured, and that's going to bring them to the Kree homeworld, and that's the next step. Like, that's what was required for the story, and everything's accomplished. And I want to say something about Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan does a really excellent job when Circe is just like, I know what to do. I'll turn everyone into frogs. And that's a really good, that's cool how he did that. Like, seeing the slow transmogrification of the guy down into a frog and then watching them like disappear.
That actually was very cool. Yeah. And then they all disintegrated.
Gracious, Circe doesn't sound right in this, though. The character.
No. It was a brutal massacre they committed, and she seems like a derp.
Yeah, whereas she should have been, and she doesn't like. Yeah, it's the wrong character. I think he's writing someone else. He doesn't know anything about her. So I think that's a fail, but it's not such a fail that, like.
Well, that's just like the Marvel method style, right? He's probably just like, oh, it's a babe.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe like there was some. I don't know if he's not working with full script and he's just stuck with these images. I guess he'll have to decide
Yeah.
how to put the dialogue in. But either way, she should be more vicious rather
No,
than.
it depends who's writing. You know, if he's just decided she's a dame, you know.
Yeah. Gracious, that
That's
shouldn't
how,
have happened.
Yeah, that's how they are.
Yeah. Well, that's how she's. That's how she's dressed. That's a hell of a costume she's got on. Like these like elbow, like these huge gloves up, not huge, but like these green gloves up to her elbows, and she's got knee high boots and like a go-go dress with like strapless bustier.
Yeah.
It's like how
how they're all like opening fire on her too. This has no effect.
Yeah. So anyway,
Too bad you couldn't back then you couldn't see her just like reach into some guy's chest and pull his heart out and stuff. Would have been cooler.
Yeah, I guess you could. It's almost the image revolution. Actually, it is right now. It's happening, March of 1992. So
it's happening, and Marvel's disregarding it.
Yeah. There's some tension between Cap and Iron Man. Mongoloid Cap, that arrogant, grandstanding. I hate when he does that.
I accused someone of grandstanding the other day.
That's a hell of a thing to say to someone.
I didn't say it to them. I just said it to someone else. But
I don't know. I always wanted, like, when someone's actually grandstanding, I want to call them out on it. But like the person,
me too. I'd like to be like, you're grandstanding, and you sound so full of shit that I want to leave this conversation and go to McDonald's right now just to put myself back down to earth.
But the problem with the grandstander is that they never recognize that they're grandstanding.
No, and the problem with the grandstander too is like they like to really like amp up their grandstanding when they're doing it like in an environment where the person can't retort. Like, fucking to a corner store cashier or something.
Either on the internet or to a subordinate, someone where
exactly. Like in a position where they have to just grin and bear it.
Tim
Hortons lineup.
Fucking garbage. Anyway, Shatterack shows up, and he's like he's a bug man of some sort, and he's got the I think we're starting to accumulate these crotch blankets.
And he's got the same orange aura as Rick James.
Yeah, he's coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have like spikes on your arm like you're like a real low rent Wolverine? When you're in space, you're like a bug god. You're gonna shoot energy beams and do a bunch of zapping.
I don't know. That's for I don't know what those would be used for.
For close encounters, I guess.
Yeah, that's too bad Iron Man doesn't allow that. Iron Man just fucking cooks him. He doesn't play games with that. He gets hit first. Yeah. And then he comes back with a secondary shot and just like ruins this guy's life.
Squawk!
And he's just like going through space thinking dashes. Comma. This was a rough hit.
Yeah. It's weird to think that he comes back from that, but also it's weird to think that Iron Man is that. It's both cool and weird to think that, and actually one of the problems with Iron Man in space is his armor seems really low rent, and for him to be so powerful in comparison to something that, like this galactic civilization, they've got warp drive, they've got, like they're way above Earth, and there is something. I know it's stupid. It's something that only exists in the nerd brain, but it seems wrong that he's so powerful in that environment. But it's also cool. Like he should be that powerful, but I always found that tension is very uncomfortable for me, and I just want to get him out of space, put him back down on Earth. Or if he gets into space, I just feel much more comfortable if he's really outclassed, and he might as well be wearing like a steam-powered suit or something.
He feels a little sweaty and agitated, like he's not like enjoying this space fight.
That's true, and he does surrender.
Yeah, he has a lot of his monitors are going off, like a little bit angry at him and stuff, and he's kind of, I don't know. There's some danger if you read the DOS programming.
No, it's true, and he's like, listen to this searing pain throughout the body of the fragile man within the metal shell. His ruined nervous system, maintained only by the sophisticated life support system under his armor, failing under the strain of battle. So yeah, he's getting the shit kicked out of him. Like, I like this. Again, another thing with Kaminski at this time is the Iron Man armor doesn't keep his heart beating. It's like it's a replacement for his nervous system. Which he's completely ruined somehow through through the use of Iron Man, like the Iron Man. So it has kind of a dependency thing, getting back to the sort of Tony Stark's alcoholism. It's interesting, but it's kind of tiresome after a while. You don't want Tony Stark to be so reliant on the armor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I like the tactical sensor. Probability of survival based on combat situations. Surrender 21%. Gonna have to roll the dice on that one.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was 21%. Jesus.
Not great. Those are bad odds all the way around.
Yeah. Switch
Obviously the fight wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah. It is cool though. Kudos to Ryan. What was his name? Paul Ryan. For that, actually, he depicts that pseudo electronic stuff really, really well, and also
it's definitely unique to this book. I've not seen that done in that exact way before, and I really enjoyed it. But
yeah, it's something they should do a lot more. I'm surprised actually you don't even see it with that seems like something Warren Ellis would do, but I don't think he did. I also wanted to rewind a little bit when Shatterack's like altering sensor parameters to compensate. There's this like spiral green and white, like this blank negative space, and there's like this interesting alien space lettering. So kudos to the letterer on that.
Oh yeah.
Unless it was just like in the art. Maybe it was just in the art, but that's really cool too. Like I think this guy, I understand that I'm starting to understand more of the appeal for him. I still find his work is very legible, but it's also still like sometimes it's so careless. And you're like that's what you're like when that picture of Captain America grousing about arrogant grandstanding Iron Man, like he looks stupid. Like you're like that's your image. Like you couldn't have gotten an eraser before you inked that shit. Fix that chin up. Like
that's hard. That's harsh.
Yeah,
but fair.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. Like sometimes his panels are great, and then other times you're like you really question. Like but then again, I've never had to draw like 30 pages of comics a month, so maybe you make peace with shit like that.
Everyone under arrest too is a pretty cool scene. I don't see I like how Iron Man surrendered, and I understand why and how. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the team wasn't losing.
True.
Like in any way. And I don't see most of those gods like opting for surrender. So I mean, unless they just really trust Tony, and they're like, let's just roll with this.
Well, apparently they do. Yeah, when Tony makes a call, you got to back the call. I've never been in a intergalactic war situation like just relying on my buddies, but
not recently.
Yeah, it's been a while, I remember back when we did though. Like if you said something like it's like parenting. I think it's like parenting. Being the Avengers, okay. Like parenting.
That's fair.
So if the mom says, no, you can't have your Ninjago thing today, then dad's got to back that up.
You got to say that's right. That's what your mom says is the case.
So that's what's happened here. And I think Iron Man's the mom. I think Cap's clearly the dad, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So
and everybody else is like just a bunch of shitty cousins.
it's kind of listen. Yeah. So they've been captured by Buck Rogers' space villains. All of a sudden, like how the fuck did this the Kree suddenly? So they've got Shatteraks or whatever, but the Kree, like up until now, it looked like a bunch of Borg. But then when they finally show up and capture them, it's Buck Rogers style. It's like 1940.
Yeah, and also what happened to the military guys that look like Shi'ar guys?
Yeah, right. Like
they disintegrated all them, so they basically
right.
like 60% of the force has been killed, but they still have a bunch of Buck Rogers guys that come out of nowhere.
No. Okay, so remember they come in and they're like, this ship is really empty. Like, what's going on? And so they find Shi'ar in there. Like, actually, this isn't clear. Like, what's the scheme here? What have the Shi'ar been getting up to? Attacking this outpost. Why are they disintegrating? And then, like, did the Kree not realize that there was a bunch of Shi'ar infiltrators? Like, yeah.
Oh, those were Shi'ar guys. Okay, well now I'm just So my whole comment at the beginning's kind of washed, but
oh, I see. Okay,
yeah, I got confused.
No,
it's easy to happen in the Galactic Storm.
Well, you might be right, actually, though. Sorry, I forgot about that earlier part of our conversation. I guess they could, again, not clear. You know what? I want to take back everything good we said about Len Kaminski.
And just say this is a barn burner?
Yeah, well, I just like this. Barn burner is usually like a good thing. I think.
Is it?
I think this fucked up.
I thought it was like a fire that's out of control.
Oh, no. Well, I guess it is, but like in a good way, because I guess you can make hot dogs. Like it's a real barn burner.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true.
Yeah. That's a fucking party that got out of hand. Like if they burn your farm down, like you're trashed. You got trashed and you decided you're going to burn your farm down. I'm assuming that's where that phrase comes from.
Hey, the Black Knight's got a line here.
Oh, what is
Cap? Something's happening here.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
What a beauty. First appearance.
Oh, no, he says two things. That bulkhead's been being opened from the other side. And fucking Cap.
He's pretty handy to have around, then arguably, because if you have your head turned, like he's going to see what's going on, just reiterate.
Yeah. Well, he's doing the he's just like Thunderstrike or whatever. He just tells you.
He gets arrested real good too.
Yeah.
And then it says next. Wow. Special guest villain Ronan the Accuser.
Trial of the Avengers.
Actually, Ronan the Accuser is an underrated Marvel movie bad guy who had a great portrayal, I thought.
Okay. I didn't get to see. Is he in the Guardians movies?
Yeah, I want to say he's in the first one.
Okay, all right. Well, we can talk about that some other time. So that's Operation Galactic Storm Part 6. And so the Buck Rogers villains have captured the Avengers, and what will happen next? I don't know.
We don't know. No, yeah, you gotta go to your local comic store and get the Galactic Storm.
Pick up the trade.
There's no trade.
There is a trade. Yeah. It's
no.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna want it after that.
It's really big and it's really expensive. I think we talked about this early on.
Is it really expensive?
Yeah. It's like $50. It's
that's pretty steep.
I would have bought it by now. I would have bought it in a heartbeat. If it was like $25, like if I ever find it at BMV, I'm snatching it up so fast. Probably cheaper to buy the individual issues. Anyway.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.